Good morning all. We have been learning about communications. So now today we would be learning about different types of communications. So let's start with when we understand communication. We need to communicate with various people in various forms. We need to communicate with people, with our friends, relatives, colleagues, people we meet, people we come across, all different people that we meet or we are connected with. A connection becomes stronger if our communication is strong. And when we are talking about communications, again there are various types of communications which are important and which we need to follow. But before which, we will first have to understand is there are two different types of communications that we take care of. One is verbal communication and second one is non-verbal communication. So when we are talking about verbal communication includes our speech, our talking, and when we are now getting into verbal communication, in verbal communication we have talking, even listening I would count it under the verbal communication form, because when you talk, when I am talking, I need someone to listen, otherwise this process of talking is incomplete because there is no opposite person who is listening. And if we don't have a listener and if I am just talking, it is not a complete process. Again it becomes incomplete process if there is no proper listening and speaking, because between the listening and speaking we have is the understanding part. Only if that we listen, it is properly understood that the speaker was right or wrong. Otherwise it is all just speaking and of no sense. So guys, when we are talking about verbal communication, it is, yes, this is the verbal communication: talking, listening, the mother tongue influence, fine, your volume, and there are various things when we look into the verbal communication. There are various languages involved. When we are talking ourselves as Indians have various languages. So it's not that we would easily understand everyone. But again, verbal communication is very important form. Again, in verbal communication when we take, even reading and writing comes under the verbal communication even, because our views, our ideas, we are presenting it into a written form so that people understand us. What our views, our thoughts, what we are speaking is again written down the way we need to give. Fine. And now when we are talking about non-verbal communication, non-verbal communication is equally important as the verbal communication. It is very important for us to understand a personality, a person, and the things equally connected. As we say, sometimes people are speechless, but okay, we understand them. Even when we are talking about the deaf and the dumb, deaf people, we understand them. They understand us. There are the sign languages, the body language we call, the eye contact we call. Such things are again observed into non-verbal communication. Even non-verbal communication is a form, a type of communication which presents our views, our ideas to people the way we want it to come. Fine. Again, now when we are talking about non-verbal communication, yes, non-verbal communication, it has the body language, it has the eye contact, addressing, so these few things are part of non-verbal communication. A person's body language speaks a lot. Let me give you an example. Body language and dressing. As we all are learning professional courses, we are going to be professionals. Suppose a person has come for the interview and the body language of the person, the way the person is sitting, is putting one leg on the other. The body language is not supporting a formal way. Again, the body language speaks about the person's personality. That he is casual by nature or he is not a professional, not an official person. So that is how they say, groom yourself onto your body language. Sometimes when we are speaking something and again our eyes, they peep out somewhere else. Suppose like now I am talking and my eyes are not supporting the screen or my eyes is not supporting you. That time it is like, yes, I am physically present here, I am talking, but again my mind is wavering somewhere else. So the eye contact again speaks a lot about your mental wavelength. Again it speaks about your presence of mind. So your body language and eye contact speaks a lot about your personality, your presence of mind, your behavior. So guys, verbal communication and non-verbal communication equally plays a vital role. So we have to be very strong in both. Now we have is formal and informal. Formal communication and informal communication. As in starting we spoke, we communicate with various people. We communicate with our friends, we communicate with our colleagues, we communicate with our subordinates, with our seniors. But when we are talking, there is a small difference in communication with each one of them. With everyone, we don't communicate in an equal level. There is a difference that we have to maintain. And that to being more professional, we have to maintain the difference in formal and informal communication. When we are talking about, first let's talk about the formal communication. Talking about the formal communication, it is, again, it shows our personality, how well educated we are, how well presentable we are because of our formal behavior. That is how when we talk about formal communication, email writing, fine, again, minutes of meeting, drafting, memos, and various such things which officially are conducted. Circulars we give. These are the formal ways that we would communicate. Again, when we are talking about formal communication, email writing first when we talk about. Email writing again has to be followed in a proper manner. Whom are we addressing first? Related to what? The subject. And so accordingly, because again even in email writing, though it is official, whom we are writing it to, again addressing changes. So we have to go in a very formal way. We have to think before our presentation, a proper presentation. We have to plan, then structure it, write it, then again review it before anything formally goes, because it is official, formal. We cannot be casual towards our attitude and even casual towards our behavior. So during formal communication, we will have to take care of various things. Email writing, when we are talking about as a formal communication, again first we will have to whom we are addressing, we will have to give that. Subject, what is the purpose, why are we writing, and to whom we are addressing, we would formally go either greetings for the day or good morning, but we would formally address. Then accordingly, when we are writing, structuring the mail, we would write the content what we want to write in a short and a sweet in a crispy language, and we would end it up with thanking you, regards. Again we would address it. So in a formal way of going, we have to take care of various things, because that gives a official, it gives an official impact about our personality to people. In formal communication, again, when we are talking about the body language, our dressing, it is very important. When we are talking about formal dressings, when we are following, it is for males trousers, shirts, tie, suit, such various official wear are among the formal dressing. Again, why we are discussing dressing? Because when we look into the body language and presentability, again this is a part of formal communication. Again, for females, the same way, they have pant, shirt, trouser, shirt, coat, blazer or sari. So accordingly, we follow it. Now, in our body language, even we have to be very humble the way we meet people, because again into the formal communication there are various things that are taken care of. Now let's talk about informal communication. In informal communication, as when we were talking, we spoke about, we talk to our colleagues, our subordinates, our seniors, working with us in the office. This is all we would follow as the formal communication. Fine, for them we will follow as the formal one. But now, informal communication, to our near and dear ones, to our friends, might be even to colleagues who are really good friends of ours, with our juniors, with our loved ones. The language we use is informal. We have the liberty to talk. We have that freedom and liberty. We need not be formal. We can be open to. It's an open communication. It's again, let's be open to. When we are talking to, we need not think of various things. And again, during the informal communication, yes, one thing that we would take care of is, please do not hear anyone's feelings with your words. Words again play a great impact. And guys, please take care. informal communication, again, the language has to be taken care of because we are into an educated society, and our presentation, our personality carries a great impact. So the language matters a lot. Even to our near and dear ones, let's not hurt their feelings. Let's not hurt them. Fine. Then, now when we were talking about formal, informal, verbal, non-verbal communication, all this communication, the biggest impact to all the communication, the biggest thing that, into non-verbal, verbal, every communication, formal, informal, one most important thing a person has to take care of is, I would say, is a smile. Smile takes you miles. Again, this is a non-verbal form of communication, non-verbal. But that smile, again into formal, informal, whomever you're meeting, a smile is one very important thing. You meet your near and dear ones, smile is to be carried. Even if you meet your colleagues, your senior, or your subordinates, people working with you, again smile is important. And we speak 100 words, but without a smile, people try to judge us in a wrong way because it's giving some negative this thing. Why is the person so serious? Why is he or she not smiling? Guys, smile takes you miles. Smiles take you miles. People remember you because of your smile. As you know, when we say a person very serious, we see he doesn't smile at all, he or she. That time we feel, how arrogant the person is. His attitude, he has a great attitude problem. But that's one smile creates a great impact towards your complete communication activity. Let us call it as a formal communication, informal communication, verbal, non-verbal, everything. But smile takes you miles. But guys, to be said again, smile comes under non-verbal communication. But I discussed about it at the end, after completing verbal, non-verbal, formal, informal, only because this one smile is important in every part. So please carry a smile for your formal, informal and during your communication too. Fine.